Welcome to Awaken Your Soul's Unlimited Potential. My name is Eva, and as always, I'm so happy to have you with me. And today I want to share an interesting experience that happened to me a couple of weeks ago that really taught me two amazing lessons, which is what I want to share with you in this video. And to just start off the story, so I've never been a confrontational person my entire life. Like my weapon of choice in any kind of heated situation is I choose to walk away, because I don't like having to say something or do something in that moment when both of you are like so heated that you might actually end up regretting later. I don't like getting to that point. And usually you find that when you're arguing with someone and both of you are trying to put your points across to each other, you might end up saying something that will really hurt the other party, and that will make you feel so ashamed like later on once you think about it. So I really avoid confrontations as much as possible. Okay, but in this particular situation, I chalk it up to I was really having a bad day. But actually looking back at it wasn't really a bad day. Let's just say it was just in that moment I forgot who I was, right? So I walk into a shop near where I live, right? It's a place I've been going to for such a long time. I've been shopping there for such a long time. And I normally buy certain food items from there. And usually when I go there, I request for the food to be packaged in a certain way because I find it to be more hygienic and easier for me to carry when I go home. So I normally request for them to pack it in a certain way every time I go there. And I've never had a problem with that. I did have a problem initially when I started requesting them to do that for me, but once we got over the kinks, like all of them, like none of them ever said no to me. They'll just pack for me my food items the way I liked it, which is why I love going to this place. But this particular day I chose to actually go at night instead of during the day when I usually go for shopping. So when I go at night, I've had a super tiring day. I just want to get home and just take a bath and just go to bed, right? I'm so tired. So I walk in and of course I make my usual request, but it's not the person that I was dealing with is not someone that I had ever encountered before. Probably they work the night shift and I rarely shop there at night. So I asked this person, like, can you pack for me this way? And the initial reaction from this person was, no, we don't usually do that. It's not allowed. I told them no, because I've been shopping here for quite a while and I've never had this problem before. They always pack for me like this. And the person was like, if they do that, then that is wrong. They're not supposed to do that. And it was such a huge issue. So I was like, you know what? I don't think we're understanding each other, because I already saw that we were both getting heated. So I was like, you know what? Let me go talk to a customer service representative or something and explain the situation. Maybe this other person that I was talking to had their own issues with me. I don't know. That's what I was thinking. So I go to the customer service representative and I tell them, like, hey, this is what I'm encountering with this person. And the customer service representative, of course, was like, that doesn't make sense. Let me go and talk to this person. So we both go to this person who was serving me and we explain the situation again. But this person was so basically just refused to give me the kind of service that I wanted and said no to it and wanted to like cause so much drama to call their supervisor to authorize them having to pack in that way. And I did try explaining like what normally happens, in the fact that I've been shopping there in that place for such a long time and I always get that kind of service. So I wasn't understanding why this person for this particular moment was saying no to me. It didn't make sense to me. And I tried explaining to them. So initially I thought that maybe it was because they wanted to charge me extra. So I was like, you know what, to avoid the drama, I'm going to pay extra. I know I'm not supposed to, but it's okay because we're wasting too much time. So let's just end this. I'm going to pay extra if that's what you want me to do. But this person still said no. And that really made me angry. It got to a point where I was like, you know what, this is so ridiculous, because it was such a ridiculous argument, honestly. Like, when I look back at it, it was the most ridiculous thing that we were arguing about. But we were both angry in that moment and everyone wanted to prove that no, this is the company policy and I'm the customer, so you're supposed to listen to me and my needs, right? So we were both approaching it in that from those angles. So it got to a point, you know what, I was like, I'm gonna walk away. And I did walk away, swearing off going to that shop. Like I was like, I'm done shopping here after that experience, because like I don't understand how you can treat a customer like that. I was really mad. And out of that anger, and here comes in my first lesson that I learned that day. Out of that anger, I got home. I was so mad and I had to let that anger out on something. So what did I do? I wrote an email, a complaint email to the company, because like someone needs to explain to me what was going on. So I wrote the email, right? And I felt so justified in writing that email and complaining, you know. Then I slept and I wake up the next day and now I'm level headed and now I'm thinking clearly. Then I sit down, I'm like, was it really worth all that drama to argue over such a tiny little packet? Like, it wasn't such a big deal for me. And on my end, I decided to take responsibility, because like maybe that other person was just having an off day, because we all have those days. I was having an off day that day. Everyone experiences that, you know, we're all human. And maybe it was just a conflict of that, and that's the reason why that entire scenario like got so heated, because both of us were having our off days. And you know, because I'm a spiritual person, I believe in forgiveness, I believe in love, I believe in compassion. I was really ashamed of that, because I was like, I should have handled that situation way better than I did. You know, I should have been able to put myself in that other person's shoes and understand that maybe this person was maybe new to the company, or you know, of course, having an off day or just something. I should have been able to put myself in that other person's shoes and not let that conversation get to such a level. I could have easily walked away and decided to like shop another day when my usual attendants were there, but I didn't choose to do that. Instead, I chose to let my anger drive that situation, to let my ego drive that situation, and that's why I reacted the way I did. But in that moment, now the following morning, I remembered that, hey, out of that anger, you actually wrote an email to the company customer care to complain about the service. And I looked at that email and I was like, whoa. Had I waited for just a couple of hours, had I slept on it, I for sure will never have sent that email. But because of that anger, because I was letting my ego drive the situation, I actually wrote, it wasn't a really nasty email, so I wouldn't say it was like super nasty and insulting or anything, but it was an unnecessary email. So I was ashamed of that. And that was my first lesson from that incident, that never let your emotions drive you into taking any kind of action that you might end up regretting later. Because a lot of people end up making certain, I'll say stupid decisions in the heat of the moment. You know, you've heard of people committing crimes of passion, right? When they decide to do something to someone else because of that anger, that passionate anger in that moment, they end up doing something. And then once they do it, kind of like they now come back into themselves and they're like, what did I just do? You know, it kind of like shocks them. And that's what I was going through in that moment. See, I know this concept, like, you know, because I've been working on myself. So I always know that never react out of anger. That's to walk away. But that moment I chose to let my anger drive the situation that resulted in whatever happened. So my message to you today is that when you're faced with certain situations, and it doesn't matter, you could be on the right, you could be on the wrong, the best thing you can do is walk away. I know for most people, they let their ego take over because they don't want to lose face in front of other people. They don't want to give this person, they assume that by walking away, I'm making this other person right. By walking away, I'm saying that it is okay for them to continue doing whatever they're doing to me. And I'm justified to complain and argue about this. And that's completely okay. But no good can come out of such a situation. Trust me on this. Because both of you are trying to communicate your needs and desires to each other, but none of you is actually listening to what the other person is saying. Okay? Because each of you is so centered on being right, or being above, or having one over this other person you're arguing with. And nothing good can ever come out of that. So if you're ever in those kind of situations, just walk away. It doesn't take much to just walk away. And so much, actually, like a lot of crime I would say, that has been committed in this world, especially crimes of passion, would have been avoided had this person just chosen to walk away. We've heard of cases of people cheating on their partners, and when the other partner finds out, it becomes such a whole issue that they end up getting rid of their partner because they're angry. And then later on, when they come back to their senses, they're like, what did I do? I let my emotions, I let my ego lead the way. That led me to make certain stupid actions that resulted now in me having to lose the rest of my freedom, lose the rest of my life, just because I was angry and I decided to act on that anger in that heat of the moment. Okay? So please, 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 if you're watching this, never, ever, ever let yourself be in that kind of situations. Walk away, sleep on it. Because usually when you sleep on, especially, and it doesn't matter what kind of emotion you're dealing with, it could be anger, it could be sadness, it could be anxiety, it could be stress, it could be depression, whatever it is. You know, those moments where like you feel like the world is about to end because of this emotion you're feeling, sleep on it. I know when I used to struggle with my emotions earlier on, you know, before I started working on myself, there are moments where I will like really be sad and be like, you know, I'm just so done with everything and all of that. But the thought actually that used to get me through those moments was just to sit down and tell myself that it's gonna be okay tomorrow. So the only thing I need to do is just sleep, and I'm gonna feel much better tomorrow. And I did. And it will be better the following day. It wouldn't seem like such a big deal, because sometimes we blow through things out of proportions because of our emotions, because of our ego. So you really need to be mindful of that. Okay? So that was the first lesson I learned. So that day, when I'm reflecting on this situation and asking my guides and asking my higher self, like, why did I have to go through that? Because I love reflecting on those kind of moments, because I realized that they have such valuable lessons to teach us. So I was trying to figure out, why did I have to go through that situation yesterday? You know, because I was really angry and I was trying to make sense of that and how I could make that situation better. So I asked, what was the point of that? What was that situation trying to teach me? Which is now the second lesson I love to give to you. When you go through certain moments, you know, it could be someone who what is it called, like did something to you, like on the road when you're driving the car and you get so angry, like you know, most people will normally curse at the other person. But if you can actually start training yourself to sit down and ask, like, whoa, why did that car have to do this to me on this particular day when I'm in such a hurry to go to work or to whatever place you're driving to? Why did that have to happen at that moment? And just that moment of reflection can save you from so much, because there's always a lesson to be learned in each and every experience that we encounter. Like, nothing happens by coincidence or chance. I don't believe in that. Everything happens for a reason. And if you start looking at life like that every experience, every person you meet is meant to teach you something, or meant, like, there's something important that's supposed to happen, it didn't happen by chance. Okay, so even with the bad situations, you'll be able to look at that person and ask yourself, what are you trying to teach me? Because usually it's always a lesson that you need to learn. It could be something inside of you that's causing you to attract this person. Maybe your own anger that's attracting this other person's anger. And that moment is kind of like a wake-up call from the universe to tell you, like, hey, you need to wake up and realize that you're also holding on to this anger, and this person is also reacting to that anger. So deal with your own anger, release your anger, so that you can stop attracting these people to your circle. Or the other lesson could be, maybe it's teaching you patience, maybe it's teaching you how to be more understanding and be more forgiving and more compassionate to other people. You know, there's always a lesson to be learned. So I asked my guides, what lesson was this thing trying to teach me? Okay? And you know the thing that came up for me? It was ego. And what do I mean by that? So one of my struggles for such a long time has always been ego. Ego in the sense that whenever someone angers me, because again, I'm not a confrontational person. I don't know how to confront people, like, just to be honest. Most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time I don't know how to confront people. So my weapon of choice is, again, walk away. And what I used to do before was I would walk away and choose never to talk to you again. Like I would hold on to a grudge for years and years because of one tiny, it could be tiny, it could be big, one thing that you did to me that I didn't like. And because I didn't have the courage to talk to you about it, I chose to just avoid you. So that's basically, that has been my weapon of choice for such a long time. Avoid this person, assume they don't exist, and continue with my life. That's basically what I was doing. So my initial response to the situation was that I was never gonna go to that shop again. I was done after that confrontation because of this one person. Mind you, I have been shopping in that place for years, and I was choosing to actually walk away from this place that I kind of like. I've liked the service, I like whatever they sell. I was choosing to walk away from that just because of one bad element. Just one person, one moment was making me forget all the goodness that I had experienced in that place before. So here's another lesson for you. You know, we go through certain situations, even with our loved ones, right? Someone does something so mean to us in that moment. Maybe they're going through their issues. Maybe they don't even realize that they've hurt you. But how do we choose to respond to that? We choose to hold on to the grudges. We choose to hold on to the anger. We choose to not forgive. And our weapon now we choose now to punish this other person for whatever wrong they did to us. And then you forget all the good that you've experienced with this person. Like all of it just melts away because it's just one mistake that they made. But here's my message to you. If this is maybe something that you struggle with, you also make mistakes, right? And if you make mistakes, does it mean that you're also not worthy of being forgiven? We make mistakes all the time, right? You know, maybe you're someone who avoids gossiping, and you might have gotten pulled into a gossiping kind of like circle because the conversation was so interesting. Does that mean that you're a bad person because you messed up just once? Does it mean that just because in the heat of the moment maybe you called a loved one a nasty word because you were angry, does that mean that you're a bad person? No. So if you're able to look at yourself and forgive yourself and have compassion for yourself, why can't you have the same compassion for another person and realize that the same way you're a human being who makes mistakes, they're also a human being that makes mistakes, and you need to show them the same level of compassion and love that you have for yourself. Shows them that love. Be that understanding. Allow other people to make their mistakes. We're here to learn, and you can't learn by being perfect all the time. You learn from your mistakes. That's the lesson I learned, that, you know, every time, because that was a huge mistake I made, right? Reacting in anger, but it taught me such a valuable lesson, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that lesson because now next time that happens to me, that I encounter someone who really touches me in that way, now based on this memory, I'll know, don't react out of anger. Walk away. Leave this person be. Understand them. Maybe they're having an off day and just walk away. Had I not gone through that, I might not have realized that lesson in that moment. So I'm grateful for that. Now, this is the thing that came up for me with my guides when I asked them this question. It was, so you're choosing to walk away from this establishment because of this one bad incident, right? Now, what if God was just like you? What if God reacted or behaved the same way that human beings behaved, you know? And that kind of like snapped me out of that anger I was feeling. Because I was like, if God had the same kind of ego that we did, human beings will not exist currently. So like I was saying before, we all make mistakes. And if you're looking at the religious aspect of it, you know, when you're talking about sin and all that, because a lot of people are religious, right? We sin every day probably every moment, I won't say every moment, but most moments we're always sinning, like from our thoughts, from our emotions, from you name it, from our actions, all that. Like there's always an element that goes against what God has prescribed as our chosen, path to goodness, right? To heaven for the religious people. And every day we fail on that. We fail to live up to those standards because it's kind of like impossible in the world we live in. Like we are confronted with so much. As much as you might try to be a good person, yes, maybe you will not act on your anger, but you will think on that anger, right? You will think like, I wish this person, because that other person cannot see your thoughts or read your thoughts, but you'll think it. You'll think, I wish this person can, and you wish something bad happening to this person. And in that moment, you've already sinned. So if God was like us and turned his back on us for each and every mistake that we made, none of us will be here today. So when you look at it from that perspective, that God loves you regardless of what you do. It doesn't matter what kind of mistake you make, he still loves you. He still accepts you as you, regardless of whatever mistake you've made, according even to the human standards, right? Like we have our own laws. You might have lied, you might have cheated, you might have stolen. It doesn't matter. He looks at you and still says that you're still my child. He never turns his back on you, no matter what. And when I realized that, I looked at this other person, and my initial thought was, okay, I need to let go of ego, because ego and love cannot go together. So if this person is part of me, and this person was maybe just here to teach me a lesson that I needed to learn in that moment, then who am I to say that I hate this person or be angry at this person for something that maybe the universe or God sent them to do in my life? Like, I don't have authority over that. I cannot come from an ego place of saying that I'm going to turn my back on this establishment just because of one tiny mistake. Because if God can love me through all the BS I've done in my entire life, then I can love this person. I can extend love and compassion to this person and forgive them for just one moment of failure on their part and my part. And here's the thing, like, you need to forgive both parties, because you also need to forgive yourself. Forgiving others is so important, but you also need to release the guilt and shame that you feel inside when you react in such a way, because we are actually our own harshest judges. Like, we judge ourselves so harshly, and you need to let that go. It's okay, you made a mistake. The only thing you can do now is do better going forward. Okay? So those are the lessons I learned from just one tiny incident, and that's what I wanted to share with you. So the message of encouragement I'd give you is that look at every situation, every experience, every person you meet as a lesson that maybe you might need to learn. There's a reason why that person is there. There's a reason why you're going through whatever it is you're going through. Learn your lessons. Learn them. Actually, I've said this before, like, the first you learn the lessons, the easier it is to get rid of this experience or get rid of this person, because once you learn your lesson, there's no need for you to have that experience or that person in your life. So learn your lessons quickly and move on. Okay? So don't look at it like you're being punished, because no one is punishing you. It's whatever situation is happening, it's happening for you, to help you grow and to help you evolve. So I'm going to end this video. I hope you've enjoyed my little share, and comment down below. Let me know your experiences with this. Like, what lessons have you learned of late from a very difficult situation that you might have gone through? Let me know down below. And to say thank you so much for tuning in and watching my video until this moment, make sure that you download a free copy of my powerful quantum flow meditation to help you tap into higher vibrational states in just a couple of minutes. The reason why I prepared this particular meditation is because I've noticed that there are so many people struggling with stress and anxiety and actually managing the emotions, something that I struggled with for such a long time in my personal life, and it took me such a long time to overcome that and learn how to master my emotions. So this meditation is meant to help you with that, to help you master your emotions and help you get rid of all these negative emotions that really don't support your well-being, and maybe help you deal with anger better going forward. So if you really resonate with the story that I've shared, and maybe this is one of the struggles that you're going through, managing your emotions, get a free copy of the Quantum Flow meditation. You can download it. The link is in the description box. And as always, I end my videos by sharing how I can actually help you tap into being the best version of yourself possible. Learn your lessons quickly. Get rid of the negative karmic circle that you've created for yourself based on the choices and the actions you take on a daily basis. And how am I going to help you with this? Number one, I do work with the Akashic Records. I'm a certified soul alignment practitioner. And basically, the readings that I give people, the Akashic soul alignment readings that I give for people, are basically readings that I help them, first of all, to understand who they were created to be and who God created their souls to be. What gifts were they given by God? Because each of us has our own unique set of gifts that we're actually meant to leverage to create the human experience that we currently have right now. But a lot of people have actually forgotten who they are based on all this noise that's happening in their society. And maybe not even in their society, based on all the noise that's in their family. Maybe your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, whatever, told you to follow a certain path because they thought that path was good for you. And for a lot of people, following that path actually meant that they were going against who they were designed to be. Because the minute you start leveraging your own gifts, you'll find that life starts becoming easier for you. Because our own innate gifts are things that just come naturally for us. It's not something we have to work so hard for. You might need to train a little bit for them, but the minute it's something that you're innately talented in, it will come so easy for you compared to if you're going against the grain and trying to do something that is actually not you. So if you want to know the unique set of gifts that your particular soul has, you can actually discover that with the soul alignment reading. The second thing you get to discover is your soul group. What is the name of your soul group? Where did your soul originally come from? Because not everyone that's on this planet originally incarnated here. There's so many of us who incarnated in other star systems before choosing to have a physical experience on this planet. So if you want to know where your soul is from, the name of your soul group, the characteristics of the particular soul group, the gifts of the particular soul group that you can still leverage to create your human experience, you can discover that with the soul alignment reading. The third thing is that you get measurements of where you currently are vibrationally. Which dimension are you currently tapped into? Your consciousness is tapped into. Where are you getting your guidance from? And with those kind of measurements, now you know how to better show up intentionally in your manifestations and what you actually need to do to get yourself to either raise your vibration, basically in order to manifest better. So if you're curious about that, you can discover that with the soul alignment reading. The fourth thing is that, which is usually my favorite part of the reading, it's you get to uncover your soul story. And by your soul story, we're actually going back to a particular past life. So the thing I love about the soul alignment reading is that we don't go through all your 100 or 20 lifetimes that you've lived. We actually identify the particular lifetime that your soul started making negative choices that are still currently affecting you in this current lifetime. So there's always that connection to be made, because there's no point of you having all of this information that doesn't really impact your day-to-day being. So the whole point of this reading is to help change to help you change your day-to-day actions so that you can create a better experience for yourself. Okay, so when you uncover your particular soul story and the particular choices that you made in that lifetime that went against who you are at soul level, that you're still repeating in this current lifetime, you discover that. And then the last part of the reading is that you get to now energetically clear. What I normally give my clients is a 21-day prayer process that will help them integrate this particular reading and this particular healing on a physical level, and to also support them as they move forward in life. And it's a life-changing thing. Like, I've gone through it. I've done the reading for so many of my clients. You can check out the client testimonials down in the description box. Or if you want to learn more, or maybe you have more questions for me, you can connect with me on Facebook or Instagram, or go right ahead and book a free discovery call with me and ask all the questions that you want before you jump into actually booking a reading for yourself. So if you resonate with this, you can actually get all the links to that in the description box down below. The last modality I do work with is called quantum flow. So quantum flow is all about biohacking your nervous system. It actually incorporates the use of ancient techniques such as qigong, such as kinesthetics, so many techniques actually, yoga, you name it. Like, it incorporates that. It incorporates some certain modern technologies, right, to help you rewire your nervous system. What a lot of people don't know is that all the trauma, the emotional wounds that you've gone through all the way from your birth, from your mother's womb actually, all of it is recorded in your nervous system. And what normally happens is that your nervous system forms certain crystals, right, that actually block the flow of energy inside of your body, block your chakras. And once you block your chakras, it actually impacts different areas of your life: your physical, your mental, your emotional, your spiritual well-being. So if you actually want to break those crystals down, you can do that with the quantum flow and actually get the energy flowing again in your chakra system, get you back into balance, bringing your body back into balance, and most importantly is that building that spiritual connection, right, with your soul. That's the whole point of quantum flow, and that's the whole point of my work, to help you reconnect with your true nature, your soul, help you connect with your soul guidance so that you can find your true path in life. So I always say that I'm not here to tell you that this is what you're supposed to do. I'm just here to facilitate that for you to discover that for yourself. I'm just your guide, okay? But you are your own best teacher. That's how I can put it. So if you resonate with this and if you would love to learn more, you can book a discovery call and get to learn more, or connect with me on Facebook and Instagram and ask any questions that you want, and I'll always be happy to respond to you. I'm going to end my video now. Subscribe to my channel if you've not yet subscribed, and also click on the notification bell that's next to the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any content I share out here. For now, I'm sending you so much love, and I hope I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.